The dapple forest is here, and with it a bunch of new blocks and shapes to combine into different palettes and use in builds. So come along with me in this short video while we explore all these new possibilities and build something cool with them. I don't usually do this, but I feel like they've added so many new blocks in these new versions that I kinda wanna play with them, and I wanna make it in the format of a video. And for some reason, every once in a while around this time of the year, I decide to make a video with a face cam. So that's the new biome. That's the only thing that I care about right now. I'm gonna do locate biome dappled forest. This looks like a proper dappled forest. The atmosphere here, absolutely insane, with the particles, different color for each tree. What I really like about this, actually what I don't like about this is this. I mean, it's not that I don't like it, it's good. We need more vegetation, but why only red? Give us orange and give us yellow, that's all I'm asking for. Something that I really like, and it hasn't been mentioned much, is the new color of the grass. This is really unique. We don't have something like this for the grass. And the color of the water, I'm not sure if we have this grayish tone. I think the swamp is kinda similar. I don't know if it's the same, especially from a creative point of view when we can like biome paint builds and such. Having this color of grass and having this color of water is pretty unique. But today that's not what we are here for. Today we are here to explore all the new blocks from this snapshot, how to use them, find nice block combinations to turn into gradients, to shapes that we don't have. It can be interesting. This is a gray wood type for shaping blocks. This is really good. So these are basically the things that we have from the new snapshot. And then we got the blocks from the previous release, the sulfur and the cinnabar. I've already been playing a little bit with this, but the real cool thing about these blocks is that they have all the variants, even the ones that are not like polished. That's rare. I thought this wasn't going to have the variants, but I'm really happy that they do. We always need more wall colors. Speaking of colors, I really forgot the most important part of this. The wool stairs. Look at how many new blocks we get from this. How could I forget about this? It kinda doesn't make sense to have a wool stair if I'm honest, but I like it. I'm not complaining. Don't take it away from me. Now yes, these are all the blocks from the new snapshot. So many new colors and so many new shapes. I'm getting a bit overstimulated with all these possibilities, which is why we are making this video, so that we can narrow it down a little bit. And yeah, I'm talking with my hands. The first thing that comes to my mind when I see this is rainbow house. I never remember the colors of the rainbow, so I need to do a little search over here. Rainbow color order. Apparently not everybody agrees on the colors of the rainbow, so I'm gonna do whatever I want. And those are our 7 colors of the rainbow. Why don't we make a cozy little house? Very starter base like. This is the most classic roof. Stair down, stair up, going into like this pointy shape until it connects here in the middle, and then we do like this, and here we can do another one like that. And we can do something similar here on the side. So now comes the fun part. Regularly, if we wanted to have a wool roof, we would have to fill this in with the full blocks, which honestly, it's not that bad. But you can see that it's kinda weird, the shapes don't really match. But now, this very simple gradient. Going 3 blocks each, and then we shall repeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And we get a nice, very cool looking, very smooth looking as well, rainbow roof. So that's our rainbow house. And honestly, the main use that these things are gonna have is to transition from blocks when we are shaping. That this is not my idea, this is something that I've seen, and you've probably seen it as well. We builders never use the blocks for what they are, we use it more for the colors. That's like the tip number 1 for when you want to become a better builder. We've seen many times people terraform by just changing the sides so we don't see the dirt, like moss or wool, the concrete powder, doing this kind of smoother looking grass. And now on top of that, we get the slabs to smooth these things. When you look at it from up close, it's not the same, of course. But from far away, this blends so well. It makes it look so much more smoother because it gets rid of half of these like shadows from the blocks when they meet each other. This is a really nice addition. Huge win on having these blocks. Up next, we need grass slabs or moss carpets. Moss carpets that we can stack them like snow layers, basically moss layers. That would be so good to have. Now I actually want to build inside the apple forest, and for this I think I want to explore more the colors that we have here. And let's find a spot over here. Yeah, up here looks nice, so let's just get rid of these trees. I kinda like how the wood is generating here with the tall trunk and some branches to the side. I think it's a simple way to add some variation to this. Annoying to chop, surely. Okay, so here we have this area where we can begin building some stuff with our new poplar. Poplar planks, poplar log, and all that stuff. The first thing that I think when I see these arches, of course, we have these trapdoors with arches if we want to make it thicker. And until now, if we wanted to make an arch like this one with stone bricks, that's the maximum curvature that we could get on this, because there were no great trapdoors. And the closest that we had before was either the shingle or the recently added copper as well, which is not so recent. These were the ones that blended the best until now, because now I think this new one is going to blend so much better. And yes, and you know, we can probably mix in some of these in some areas. What I want to try now is, what about tuff? It still kinda blends. Regular tuff goes a bit better, I think. Yeah, it goes well. It goes very well. I can see myself using this new wood set more as a stone complement than an actual wood set. You can always use shelves as well. I guess shelves are blending a bit better, because they don't have the bright edge over there. Shelves are good here. Yes, we can get really nice stone pillars if we just do like this. Just some shelves here for very basic stone pillars. That would work. Here you can do crazier and stairs. Expanding on the possibilities for the stone combinations. Then the next thing that I want to explore is the similarities with this with other block types. This is a really smooth texture. I can see this being used for like some nice kitchen furniture or some type of modern thing. The closest to this, if you're trying to build like a gradient, I think this is very similar to mushroom stem. It's a bit darker, but look at them. The texture and like the general appearance is kind of very similar. It's almost the same. That's kind of like the perfect shadow for this. And then what I can see is probably some similarities here, of course, with what it normally goes to. You can see, I don't know if you can see it, but this is clearly more of a warm color. And here we transition to a more cold. That would be a really nice transition. We already know this. And from here, from this side, the light gray terracotta. Now what I want to see are more than gradients for this. I think I want to see some different color combinations. I will say probably the first one that comes to my mind is the pale. Again, it's kind of like a shadow version of this. The ones that I don't think are going to work are the bamboo, the cherry, the warped. I don't see this happening. The bamboo, yeah, bamboo and this, it can work, but it needs other stuff. Pink, yeah, definitely no. Cyan, it could work if we add more stuff again, but the ones that I think can work really well is probably birch, oak, shingle, mostly because these three go well with anything. And the one that I'm very intrigued to see is crimson, because crimson, if we take a look at this, it kinda has like a magenta hue to it. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm seeing some like magenta purplish tones, so I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. The same with mangrove. Mangrove should work. These two warm colors, I think they work. They go nice there. I would say my favorites are this combination, and this combination. The pale, the crimson, and the birch. Purple terracotta there. And then from here we can transition, as always, to other blocks. Well, this is too much. But there. That's a nice one. Here the one with mangrove. I think, of course, this could transition to other colors. Bring it over to the bricks. That would be also a really nice palette. Having maybe this kind of white color as a frame, reds and darker reds, the colors of the walls. Yeah, these color combos I think are really nice. And one that I haven't tried is the orange. I forgot acacia. Kinda like an obvious option, like we already have that color combination from here to here, so I think I'm gonna choose one and try to build something with them. I think this is gonna allow us not only to use the poplar planks, but also a little bit of the new cinnabar. So the palette can be like this. Yeah, that can be the palette. Let's begin throwing some shapes. This one can connect here on the back. And perhaps we can leave a gap here of 3 blocks, 5 in this direction and 9 in this one. That can be the foundation for our house. Okay, let's make it taller. We can go all the way up to here. I just want the boxes. Yeah, I think that's a nice layout. Here, I wanna do like yeah, that makes it look a bit more interesting, I think. And now, yes, here at the top, we can use the bricks to determine like a basic roof layout. Before filling everything in, what I want to do is I want to decide where we're going to have like archways like this one and add like the door there. Then we can fill these walls in and decide if we want the window. We can have one here and one there, and that one should go there. The problem now is this. Okay, let's move this. Yeah, that's better. There we go. And then here we can have small windows. We can use some gates here to kinda maybe try and smooth this out. I kinda like to make windows that go like this. Normally this follows the staircase that is inside the tower. And then here for this area, we made it too thick. So we can do something like this. And get a double arch. We can probably bring it higher up though. Having shelves here and maybe trapdoors on the center. Very nice. Oh, I'm really happy with this. And then here, plop, 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 plop. And we just bring it here. Oh, it's coming together now. Ah, look at that. That's a nice color scheme. The biome is beautiful in itself, of course. Though, but now having a structure there, it's so much different. Let's fill in all the gaps now. This is what I normally do with Axiom, and I don't have to spend the time filling every block gap. It's kinda refreshing though to do this once in a while and build like a regular mortal. Plop, plop. Nice. If we want, we can like extend the overhang. I don't think it's necessary, if I'm honest. Now comes the part where we actually need to turn this into a build. We can begin coloring this before detailing even. And we can begin either on the roof, kinda shade the roof a bit better with these colors, or we can begin on the walls. I think the walls are gonna be a bit more complicated, so I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna be using the highlights. I'm gonna try to keep this color as much as possible though. I think the main color is gonna be this one, and what we are going to do is we are going to keep the shadows underneath the windows and close to like other buildings, like the natural shadow that happens between the two buildings. We are gonna use that. And over here, if we want this to be maybe a bit stronger, we can do that. Let's bring a bit of the other gray. This is like a warm gray, and this is more like a cold gray, because I've been seeing recently that you can use warm colors and cold colors as shadows. Imagine we are replicating the sun here in the build here on this corner. If this is warm, we want these warm colors, and if this is cold, because it's on the shadow, then the cold colors are a bit better there. It's something fun to think about. Close to the ground, we can use the mud, because the mud is kind of like, okay, the grass is, you know. And perhaps here we can use coarse dirt. It's like painting. We are basically painting. That's what we are doing with blocks, but it's painting. I think I like it. And now that we've done this front, we kind of have like a technique, you know? The technique for this build is doing shadows with colder stone colors underneath the overhangs. Then we are doing highlights on exposed corners that are facing in that direction, so there, probably over there. And then in some areas where it touches the ground, we are going to do a combination of these more like brown tones to kinda blend in the grass with the building. You can see from far away it begins to make sense. So painting works. And here we are on the shadow, so let's do a very strong shadow. And now we do a highlight here on the side. Now, we need to continue with this on the roof. I don't want it to just be bricks. My question is, how do I use this? Because we have two options, right? We either do the highlights with the lighter color. We can do the highlight with granite. It just wouldn't be very prominent. You know what I mean? The other path is to use the highlight here with the more saturated block. I think this can be probably nicer there. It's very strong. And then we can transition to this. And what if from here we go to the dark? I think that's nice. We kinda need something in between there, but we don't have anything in between there. I mean, we have the cinnabar. Would it be crazy to go back to cinnabar here? You know what? I kinda like it. And that definitely stands out as a highlight. I know I do a lot of tutorials about Axiom, but it's fun that the principles of building, it's basically the same. Of course in Axiom we use the tools to do this faster, but when we do manual painting with Axiom, it's kinda the same thing. We just first do the shape and then we paint. I would say it's probably the best way to go about it. Especially for structures, break down the process on those steps. The rest was doing a bit of detailing. I'm not the best at it, but it's always good to add some window shutters using the shelves, a bit of foliage using some of the new leaves, and grass options to make it look even more as a part of this new biome. As I said, I did do quite a bit of detailing. I even tried to use the new mushrooms. Here is my attempt at using them on a lamppost design. I think it's decent. Some grass in the roof and a bit of a chimney over here, and that is our finished version of this house. It fits in the biome, it has the perfect vibe, and it uses a lot of the new blocks. I'm really happy. This new wood type, it looks really good as this sort of warm rock. I like these new additions. We'll see what they have in store for the full release, but I couldn't miss on the opportunity of playing with these blocks. I don't know how to call this. I guess we can call it something. I'll leave the name up to you. I hope you learned something new today. This has been Calvin, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. And now we don't have flashbacks, so we can do like a cinematic flyback. La la la, cinematic music. This has to be the thumbnail. I like it.